Hey guys, Tarek here. Wanted to do a quick day 0.5 update where I just talk about the very little experience I had with PoE 2 up until now. EU league start is always kind of late, so had to go bed early, so very little to report. But here's the things I found. First off, melee is pretty punishing. Having to stay close to enemies feels kind of bad because overall the game feels pretty hard. Monsters hit really hard and bosses are almost Souls-like. At least if you're like me, not a very skilled player and rely more on your build than your skill to actually dodge things and whatnot. It will feel a bit bad to go melee, especially at start. I hope it will be better later when we scale out the defenses and damage. But having minions or having the luxury of range with spells or even bows and crossbows will probably feel better in the beginning. Maybe I will even consider leveling with minions, but for the thematic thing, I just chose to stay with quarterstaff as a monk. We've had people report it works kind of okay. Minions with monk, I guess you just play as you would play a witch, but with a monk, and then we go to quarterstaff skills later. As per skills I just talked about, monk, we mainly are using quarterstaff strike, just your basic auto attack, because it's the fastest one, which feels very strange having the basic auto attack be the best thing. But Frozen Locust, especially in the early game, is really good because it allows you to get a distance to enemies. It puts something in between that can be damaged by the enemy, so kind of like a shield for you. And it is pretty decent AoE while also allowing you to slow your enemies. That feels pretty good in the early game. As per damage, Falling Thunder is very good once you get Killing Palm. You generate some power charges with Killing Palm by killing enemies that are in culling range. And then you go Falling Thunder, which gets boosted pretty crazily by increasing the damage of these projectiles it does. It's like more than double damage if you have at least one power charge. Pretty insane. It's very good clear, but you have to have some power charges, which in the early game you will get by killing Palm only. Staggering Palm is also pretty neat. It allows you to dash just as Killing Palm does. And if you manage to stun something with it, you will get projectiles for 6 seconds. I added Scatter Shot, which is basically LMP. And that also is pretty cool to clear a lot of mob packs, but Falling Thunder with a power charge from Killing Palm feels way stronger, or is way stronger. As for bosses, the few bosses I have faced, I've only been to Graveyard. If that is anything to you, you're probably further than me, but I've only been to Graveyard, and bosses are pretty hard. At least there's checkpoints in front of bosses, so you can, if you're playing on softcore, you can learn how the boss works. You can go in, you die, you go back in, but you will have to continue, not continue the boss, but you have to restart the boss at 100% HP, but at least you can learn the patterns of how things work. So there's that at least. But it's not just bosses that are hard, it is also trash. There's going to be a lot of mobs huddled together. They come to you, and you gotta remember dodge rolling. I can't dodge roll in town, but dodge rolling, it doesn't give you phasing. So if you're stacked against enemies, you just die essentially, because there's pretty much no way you get out of there. You're getting stunned, and it's just over. So very, very punishing early game. Have to be a skilled player to just not go in there or die a few times as I do, because it's pretty easy to die as a melee, especially with range and minions. Especially, it's easier. You can kind of melt things. I think the balance isn't really there yet. Maybe we're missing something quite big, but doesn't feel all too good. And the last thing, we've spent a bit of time, not a lot of time, but we have done a pretty thrown together build we're using. Half of this is unfinished, but if you would like some reference, I'll leave the link to this in the description. And this is just more or less what I said I would do in the previous video. Well, if it would work, I could show you, but you can look at it yourself, I suppose, when I add the link in the description. And it's more or less the thing I thought we would do, but there were nodes updated, and I just pivoted in a few directions. And we will do more pivoting. The further we get, we will have to adjust to see what feels good, what doesn't, and just update accordingly. So expect this to change a lot. We only really have the basic gear we want, skill ideas, and a basic outline of the tree. If you would like something that kind of maybe helps, that should work, you can follow this, but disclaimer, it's unfinished. It will change. All right, that's all I have for this one, and I'm going to be playing PoE 2 on stream in like any minute now, so hope to see you there. Cheers and goodbye.